Hello, nail loves, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. I am Mrs., and I am trying to nail it, so let's go. In this video, I'll be showing you what I do to take off product and fill in the nail, preparing it for a new nail art design. I am using a Stephanie e-file at 15 RPMs. They are from a cart and run about 116, but you can usually get a 30% off during one of their sales. I'm also using a medium grit safety bit from a 3-pack that I bought off Amazon. I think they run about $9, so again, a pretty decent deal. I just wanted to let you know that this video is sped up and really want to emphasize that you do not need to be going fast when you're starting out. I tried to rush in the very beginning and I really wrecked my nails, so one thing I have learned and learned from my mistake is always prioritize learning skill over speed. This whole video from start to finish was an hour and 42 minutes long, completely unedited. So just keep that in mind when you're starting on your journey. I've been doing this for a year, only practicing on my own hand. So everybody's journey looks different. So just give yourself some grace and keep going. After the e-file, I go in with a hand file. This one is from Young Nails and it is 150 grit. What you're seeing is me bracing one finger using my other fingers. So I'm wrapping my ring finger and middle finger around my pinky. This helps give it a lot more stability and allows me to get those really thin coffin shapes. When you're first starting out, it's a lot easier to use a hand file to really shape and break down extra product. So don't feel like you have to get your acrylic application perfect at the start. You can fix it in filing and still end up with beautiful shape. So another quick tip, if you don't notice, this is me comparing nail to nail and then hand to hand to make sure they match. Nothing is more frustrating than spend all that time on your nails and then they don't match. You really like one hand and the other hand looks jacked up. So find your favorite and then try and match your other nails to your favorite. After I'm happy with the filing, I'm dusting off the nail and starting my natural nail prep. First things first, push back the cuticles. This one step, I know you hear it already by everybody, but it really does make a difference. If you push back the cuticles and expose that little white dead skin and then buff it away, you will not have as much lifting. Next, I'm going in with an arbor band and my e-file at about 4 or 5 RPMs. You really don't want it going fast. This is another thing that I did at the beginning and it wrecked my nails. This step right here is what causes thinning out and gives acrylic a bad name. But if you prep slow and soft, you will not have any issues because you're not affecting the natural nail. You will still have super healthy nails underneath. After I've prepped the natural nail, I go back in with my mandrel bit or a safety bit, depending on your comfort level, and start buffing away the lifting. It's really important to make sure you get rid of all that. And how you do that is just file right in front of where you see the color change until it is so thin it starts flaking off. That way you can get it off the natural nail without actually filing on top of the natural nail. It is a great way to prevent damage. And here's your PSA. Do not feel discouraged if you have a lot of lifting. In the beginning, lifting is expected. It takes a lot of work to work out liquid to powder ratio and nail prep and getting all the steps in order in the right way. You will see here coming up when I actually start my acrylic application, I miss a major step because even though I've been doing this for a year, it still takes a lot of practice. So don't be too hard on yourself. A couple of tips for working on your left hand. There are two ways to go about this. You can reverse the rotation and kind of just do it the exact opposite way, which I kind of prefer. I don't know why, it just feels easier to anchor. But then the other way is to keep moving it in the same rotation and then just move away from you. Whatever works best for you, there is no right or wrong way to do this as long as you are going slow at the correct speeds and taking your time. Here's a prime example of that bad lifting. For whatever reason, my index finger just did not like the fill I did last time, and I have to basically take the whole thing off. So don't let this stop you and just keep going. At least, like when things like this happen, I just look at my other fingers and look at the good ones, the ones that did well, and go from there. Sometimes your level of progress is nail to nail, day to day, and that is okay. So I got all the lifting off, and now I'm going back in with this little ball bit that I got off Amazon. It really helps clean all that dead skin and really gives you a nice prepped area to prevent any of the lifting. I really saw a difference when I started doing this rather than trying to clip skin off. For one, I'm terrible with those clippers, and two, I feel like I was taking too much off, and it was really making my natural nails incredibly sensitive, and I was starting to get some reactions, which is not good. So do whatever you can to prevent allergic reaction. So once you're happy, dust off. One thing I did not show is that I took Young Nails Swipe and a lint-free wipe and cleaned off my nails to just get rid of all the gunk and the dust. Everything I'm using here I got from the Acrylic Pro kit from Young Nails, aside from the dampening dish, but you can see the small dampening dish you get in that kit in the top right corner. So on to the actual application. I start with small beads that I like to keep just a tad bit wetter so I can move slower. As a beginner, time is my friend. I like to go slow and really try to get it right the first time. And this may be an unpopular opinion, but I feel like I learn best when working on myself. So I don't do a lot of liquid to powder ratio, just doing beads over and over and over again. I literally started my first experience on my nails, and good or bad, it is what it is. This is a new trick that I just recently learned. If you take too large of a bead, just put it on your paper towel real quick and cut it in half with your nail brush. If you never stop educating yourself, you will continue to grow. No matter how slow your progress is, you will still make progress. With cuticle application, I feel like the two rules that really helped improve with my lifting is one, keep the finger pointed downward. I know everybody says it, but there's a reason everybody says it. It works. And two, put the cuticle bead right in front of the cuticle and push it to where it needs to go. It helps to have a more even line as you grow out and prevents it flooding the cuticle so you don't have that lifting. Moving on to the application on my right hand, I create the bead using my right hand and then hand the brush over to my left. And I apologize in advance. Some of this is going to be out of frame because it's really hard to keep your finger pointed down and see what you're doing while using your non-dominant hand. As promised, here is where I realized that I missed a crucial step on the first 6 fingers. I forgot to prime. I am coming in with the Young Nails Protein Bond, which really has made a huge difference in my lifting, so I do expect more lifting on the fingers that didn't get it. With that index finger, I didn't like the size of that bead because there's a lot more work to do, so I wanted a little bit bigger to try and get it done in one. And here you're about to notice my mistake. The bead was a little too dry and started setting up, so it's not going to be as smooth a transition I would like, but I can still fix that with filing. Here I switch it up and start creating beads using my non-dominant hand, and that is perfectly okay. Just keep checking your consistency. Right here, I get a little too hurried and make a crucial mistake. I push the bead too far back and now there is going to be a ridge. I do fix this in filing, but there's still going to be that risk that it will lift because of the application process. all done with the application, so now I'm just checking to see if the acrylic is hardened. You hear a sharp tapping sound when it is hard. Now that I'm happy with the acrylic application, I'm going back in with that Young Nails 150 grit to do the finish filing. This is not a step you want to gloss over. I really feel like this step really sets you up for a beautiful set, moreover than anything else. If they pop off, they pop off. Acrylic application, nobody can really tell once they're finished how well your acrylic application was. So do what you have to really focus on this step. If you need to take a break, I usually stop right after my acrylic application and eat something, get up, walk around, check on the kids, that sort of thing. So just do what you got to do so that you can give this some time. At this point, I wanted to show what I do to keep the monomer smell to a minimum when doing acrylics in my house. I wrap up the paper towel and soak up the excess monomer, and then place that paper towel into a Ziploc bag, close it up, and then put that into a trash can with a lid. Honestly, if you do this step, the smell is minimal and you can go about your day like normal. With filing, I just feel better using a hand file, but if you are more comfortable with your e-file, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's whatever it takes to build your way of doing things. Whatever you're most comfortable with is what is best for you. So don't feel like you have to do it like anyone else, as long as your end result is the desired result. And that'll do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed it or learned something, please like and subscribe and comment your thoughts down below. And if you're on Instagram, please tag me in your practice. I would love to see it. Let's nail this together. Here's a sneak peek of my next video where I took inspiration from my favorite YouTuber.